How you guys doing? Hey, Matt. All right. I did make these t-shirts for Pulver Mar when it came out. And I read all day long, and Jay was at the first reading, and I gave him a shirt. And then immediately afterward, I thought, as I was walking away from that, I was like, why did I make a shirt of my book? I was like so embarrassed about it that I made the shirt of I thought they're a cool shirt, but then I just stopped. Yeah, they're cool. But I wanted to tell you, you're the only one that has one. Which is cool, yeah. I was like, I'm not going to give these to anybody else. So I have like 40 of them, if anybody wants one. But.
I'll take a second.
All right, you can have it. I have been told, I think at least twice now, hey, did you know there's some guy walking around town with a Pulver Mar shirt on? I was like, oh, I know who that is. There's only one. All right, this poem is called The Cliff Floats Low. Two nuns are on a cliff looking at a cloud over another cliff. It looks like a crown, but on what head, one said. It looks like a cliff, said the other. But that is a cliff, said the first nun. No, the cloud, said the other nun. The cloud looks like a cliff? Asked the first. Yeah, said the other. And she was right. The cloud did look like a cliff, floating low above the cliff. And in that, the cloud was a cliff. Because what is a cliff if not something that looks like a cliff? And this nun's cliff, a cliff set free finally from its valley after 1,000,000 years or more, like the splintered breath of a sick planet. The cliff, she thought, is going nowhere and everywhere at once. I want to be on it, she said, weeping now. It looked like it was being held on a string. She thought of the last time she was so properly held, when she felt as light as this cliff in the arms of her mother, and how her mother leaned down to kiss her bright red child ears and whispered, "You feel like nothing." Do you guys like plants?
Yes.
Okay. This one is about plants. Plants. Plants are colder than you think. You need to warm them up. You can put them near the heat. Have you ever showered with your plant? Stand there with it in your arms, the light from the shower window pushing through the steam in your hot, wet bathroom in the middle of some afternoon. Wipe the steam with your finger. Look out at all the people living a life, moving around between things, hardly touching anything. They go to the zoo, they make wishes. These are poems from a new book that I'm working on called Fjords Volume 2. A lot of these poems start from other people's dreams. So I'll ask friends or sometimes get emails and start with an idea and then let it go from there, start from their dream and turn it into something else. This one, I think, in some very early version, started from an email I got about a dream from Brandon Shimoda, who's in the back. It's called Flushing, Michigan. We eat a hot dog on the bow of a cruise ship. It was where Flushing, Michigan once was, one long, long flat wave. I think of a noise inside of another noise, the water on the sea. What did I do to deserve this, you say? The hot dog is so beautiful, you get choked up. Maybe just lick it, I say. Who among us can put our body in the light and not light up? This is called Stud of the Year. On my way to the hotel, someone calls out, "Hey, aren't you the stud of the year?" "Excuse me," I say. "Yeah, it's you, all right. You're the stud of the year," he says. "You must be mistaken," I say. A small crowd begins to form around me. "Hey, it's the stud of the year," says someone else. "Look, I'm not the stud of the year," I say, somewhat under my breath. I don't mean to embarrass anyone. One man, upon looking at me, faints, but no one else seems to notice or care. They just keep pointing at me. I push my way over to the fainted. "Are you okay?" I ask, helping him up. "I'm fine," he says, coming to. Seeing this act of heroism, a few others in the crowd faint. "Oh dear," I say, going around to each of the newly fainted in the order in which it occurred, asking each of them if they are okay and helping each of them up. Of course, this causes an outwardly stirring, and much more fainting occurs. Soon the whole city is out. Day turns into night, the street lamps come on, and still nothing. A trampled field of daffodils. I have no choice, I think. I must help them all. And I do. "Thank you, stud of the year," says each of the revived into the ever-widening idle lull. I wrote that one yesterday. And it's pretty, I haven't revised it yet, so I was doing the thing where I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to cut that. Okay, this one is called Feel the Falcon. I feel the falcon on the mountain. It picks me, points right at me with its one claw. Caw! Caw! A hollow love, a hollow flow of love, a light box of love on a cloud. It's how I know I'm me. Please, someone, land in my room. I will make great art. I will make a great piece of art. I will make a great set of choices forever. Here's my first one hook of love. Okay, this one is called Hour of the Wolf. A few things come to mind. Hour of the wolf, being told exactly what to do, tiring from a pursuit, death by quicksand, death by light, death by waking by mistake into a new light, modern life, adjusting the springiness of a diving board. I once wanted only to type so well, to be the finest typist. I was 9. I sat in my little chair. That poem's really hard for me because I have a hard time pronouncing the word wolf. I really struggled through that. Wolf. This one is called Horse Cow. This one I wrote, oh shoot, I've never read this one out loud, and there's a word in it I would have no idea how to pronounce. I was in Iceland recently, and I wrote this on the bus when we went around the island, and I remember the tour guides talking about the horses there, and they all have rules about names. You might have been on the same tour, and she was going through all these rules of how they name horses on the island. And I remember she said something like, you can't just give them some bullshit name like yogurt. Horse cow. One thing about horse cows is they have big hearts. They love you, and they will carry that love for you into a boiling river. They will carry you to an important funeral in Svalbard over the mountains of Hrondangrito. I once knew the love of a horse cow. It was a silent time, a time of low light, We could hardly move. All right, I'll read 2 more of these and then just one from Paul Vermar. How are you guys feeling? Good. All right. One thing that I like to do when I'm at a reading and not reading, as a way of entertaining myself sometimes, I see if I can, especially if the poems are about this length as the poet reads, I see if I can hold my breath through an entire poem while they're reading, not knowing how long the poem is, so it's really exciting. And usually, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's really hard, but I find that by the time they do get to the end, which I don't know is the end, that when they're reading, those last lines are even more heightened and dramatic for me because I'm about to die. So you're welcome to do that if you want, not knowing how long this poem is.
This is the longest.
Okay, this one's in 9 parts. I'm just kidding. All right, poem about Zeno. I wanted to write a poem about Zeno, who was a boy from Mexico, pictured in a photograph in an old book of Mexican food recipes. The photograph was supposed to give some context. It looked like he was afraid of a ghost that was right behind him. He was afraid of ghosts, thinking now, only for a second, for less than a second, for the time lapsed in one flash, for all I know. I don't know anything. I don't know where that book went, but I remember where I was standing when I looked at it. I was beneath a tree that carried its leaves like its only thousands of babies. This one's called Feeling Being Alive. And this one, for the most part, is a true story from when I was 13 or so. I babysat for a family with 2 children who lived on the end of the cul-de-sac in a neighborhood of cul-de-sacs. I remember how bored and disappointed the children seemed upon my arrival. So I taught them how to climb onto their own roof. The danger perked us all up. It was a steep roof, a 2-story house, or was it 3? We uncautiously played a game called Help, Help. The 3 of us, tired from hours of laughing into the face of certain death, sat still on the roof, looking out over all the other rooftops, a sea of other cul-de-sacs, ones even they had never before known. What a place to live, we each thought, above a life. When the parents returned home, they had to help lower their own children down to safety, back into the life. In the dark, no less, said the parents incredulously. Only just now has it become dark, I said. All right, this is the first poem of Paul Vermar. Paul Vermar. There once was a mar named Paul Vermar. Paul Vermar loved being a mar. It loved its rim and its footpath, and it loved its phreatomagmatic eruptions and its bathing place. But what it loved most of all was its dove. Like all doves, its dove was a dove of love. The dove dove down deep. It dove down deep into the mar's love, where it is warm and where it is made. All right, thank you.